You open this video to avoid something else. Don't close it. By the end, you will know exactly which feeling you have been running from. For 50 years, the science of procrastination had one explanation. You lack willpower. You need better discipline. Buy a planner. Use a Pomodoro timer. Try harder. And for 50 years, that advice failed almost everyone. Then in 2013, a researcher named Fuschia Sirois published a quiet review that reframed the entire field. Procrastination, she argued, is not a time problem. It is a mood problem. You are not delaying the task. You're escaping a feeling the task brings up. 8 thinkers, 60 seconds each. Then one question that ends the spiral. Stay to the end. Walter Mischel, Stanford, 1972. He sat a 4-year-old child at a small table and placed a single white marshmallow on a plate. He told the child a simple thing. You could eat this one now, or wait 15 minutes alone in a room and I will give you 2. Then he closed the door. Some children grabbed the marshmallow within seconds. Some squirmed, sang, covered their eyes, and waited. Mischel followed those children for 40 years. The waiters, on average, scored higher on standardized tests, had better social outcomes, and lower body mass index in adulthood. The world heard one lesson. Self-control is a trait. Either you have it or you don't. Procrastination became a willpower failure. Mischel himself spent his later career arguing the opposite. The waiters were not stronger. They had better strategies. But the willpower story is the one that stuck. Roy Baumeister, Case Western Reserve, 1998. He published a paper called Ego Depletion. Is the active self a limited resource? His lab ran a simple, cruel experiment. Hungry undergraduates were seated alone in a room with 2 bowls. One held warm chocolate chip cookies. The other held raw red radishes. Half the students were told to eat only the cookies. Half were told to eat only the radishes. Then, after the food test, they were given an unsolvable puzzle. The radish eaters quit the puzzle in less than half the time. Baumeister concluded that self-control is a depletable resource, like a muscle that gets tired. Procrastination, in this picture, was not a moral failing. It was an empty fuel tank. By 2010, willpower depletion was the most cited theory in psychology. But by 2016, 15 years of replication attempts could not reproduce the original effect. The fuel tank metaphor began to crack. Something deeper was driving the delay. Piers Steel, University of Calgary, 2007. He had spent 10 years collecting every published study on procrastination he could find, 691 of them. Then he ran the largest meta-analysis the procrastination field had ever seen. Out of it came a single equation. He called it the procrastination equation. Motivation equals expectancy times value, divided by impulsiveness times delay. Translation: you will postpone a task if you don't believe you can do it well, if the task feels meaningless, if you're easily distracted, or if the reward is far away in the future. Steel turned procrastination into engineering. Adjust any variable, and the delay shrinks. His 2011 book of the same name became the standard reference. Universities adopted his framework. Productivity apps cited him. But the equation was missing one term entirely. Nowhere in it was the word emotion. Tim Pychyl, Carleton University, Ottawa. He had been studying procrastination since the early 1990s and noticed something his colleagues had missed. Procrastinators almost never describe themselves as lazy. They describe themselves as overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, tired, annoyed. In 2013, he published a small, accessible book called Solving the Procrastination Puzzle. Inside, a single phrase summarized 3 decades of his research. Procrastination is giving in to feel good. When you face an aversive task, You do not weigh costs and benefits. You do whatever drops your discomfort fastest. Scroll, snack, clean, reorganize, anything. The relief is immediate. The cost arrives later, paid by a future version of you. Pychyl's reframe was the bridge. Procrastination was no longer a willpower equation. It was an emotional regulation strategy. A bad one, but still a strategy. Fuschia Sirois, then at Bishop's University, 2013. She published a review article in Social and Personality Psychology Compass that quietly rewired the entire field. Her central argument was structural. Procrastination is primarily emotion regulation. Time management is downstream. When you face a task that triggers boredom, anxiety, frustration, self-doubt, or resentment, your nervous system reaches for the fastest mood repair available. Avoidance. The task is not the problem. The feeling the task brings up is the problem. She showed in study after study that chronic procrastinators have lower self-compassion, higher stress, and worse health outcomes. And the standard advice, try harder, was actively making it worse. By 2024, when the American Psychological Association asked Sirois to speak on their flagship podcast, her reframe had become the new consensus. Procrastination is not a time problem. It is a mood problem. Now you know what you are escaping. Joseph LeDoux, NYU, 1996. He published The Emotional Brain and changed how neuroscience thought about feeling. His core finding came from years of mapping fear circuits in rats. Sensory information about a threat reaches the amygdala faster than it reaches the conscious thinking cortex, roughly 12 milliseconds faster. By the time you understand what is happening, your body has already reacted. Heart rate, sweat, posture, attention, all already shifted. LeDoux called this the low road. It is why you flinch before you see the snake. And it is why you reach for your phone before you even register that you open the document. An aversive task is not a snake. But the amygdala doesn't always know the difference. It tags the work as a threat. It triggers escape. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that knows the deadline, arrives 12 milliseconds too late. You are not weak. You are wired. George Ainslie, behavioral economist, 1975. He had spent years watching pigeons make choices in a Skinner box and noticed a pattern that broke classical economics. Animals, including humans, don't discount future rewards smoothly. We discount them in a steep curve. Ainslie called it hyperbolic discounting. Imagine two rewards. A small one available right now. A larger one available in a week. Most people choose the larger one, calmly, in advance. But move both rewards forward in time. A small one in 5 seconds. A larger one in 5 minutes. And the same people will grab the small reward almost every time. The closer a small reward gets, the more it dominates. Procrastination is hyperbolic discounting in the wild. The relief of avoidance is now. The cost of unfinished work is later. The closer the relief, the more enormous it looks. Future you is a stranger you keep handing the bill to. Daniel Kahneman, Princeton, 2011. 40 years after his Nobel Prize-winning work with Amos Tversky, he published a single book that synthesized everything he had learned. Thinking fast and slow. Inside a deceptively simple model. Your mind runs two systems. System 1 is fast, automatic, intuitive, emotional. It runs the show 99% of the time. System 2 is slow, effortful, deliberate, rational. It can override System 1, but it tires quickly and prefers to stay offline. When you sit down to do hard work, you're asking System 2 to do its least favorite thing. Engage. Meanwhile, System 1 is already scanning the room for any easier mood repair option available. Phone, snack, window, anything. Procrastination is not a battle between you and the task. It is a contest between two systems inside the same skull. And the slower one rarely wins on its own. 8 thinkers, 1 reframe, 1 question. If procrastination is mood management, what is the actual fix? Not a better calendar, not a louder alarm, not more shame. The fix is a single sentence you ask yourself the moment you reach for the escape. What feeling am I trying to get rid of right now? Boredom, anxiety, self-doubt, resentment, fear of finishing and finding out the work is not enough. When you name the feeling, the amygdala stops treating it as a threat. The escape urge softens by a measurable amount. Researchers call this effect labeling. Functional brain scans show the prefrontal cortex coming back online the moment a feeling gets a name. You open this video to avoid something. Now go back to it and ask the question, now what is on your list? What feeling are you escaping? Name it, and the work becomes possible again.